Amazing set of panelists today that are going to give us the forecast of what's going on over the next year and the years to come. So get your pens out, that pad of paper, listen up. We also have an amazing sponsor today. He's been a part of our community as a business, as a community member, and he's also a past board president. Because of that, we've just introduced him into our ambassador program for the LGBA, and so he's going to be mentoring a lot of the new and incoming members of the La Grange Business Association. So without further ado, Ryan Williamson from Horizon Wealth Management is our presenting sponsor today for State of La Grange.
Welcome everyone. I'm delighted again to be sponsoring the State of La Grange. This event and this partnership of all the people assembled in this room are great examples of what really makes the La Grange business community thrive. As business owners, we each develop long-term strategies that are built around what's important to us. And what's important to the group of individuals here is pretty easy to identify. It's collaboration, respect, trust, and creativity. Circumstances in La Grange and around the world, especially over the last year and a half, evolve and change every day. And so must our individual business strategies. Opportunities like the State of La Grange and other high-quality professional events organized by the LGBA provide access to the information we need as business owners in order to stay ahead of the curve and to anticipate where the road ahead might lead. I encourage you to take advantage of the relationships in this room. I certainly know over the years that I have, and I thank you all for that. But again, take advantage of the relationships, as I was saying, I have over the years. You're not going to make any better relationships, collaborations than the people that are here. That's why we're all here. So again, thank you for allowing me to speak, and thank you for putting this on, and sorry for blowing your mics.
The other thing I wanted to mention is big thank yous. So thank you to each one of these panelists that have taken their time out of their day today to encourage us and prepare us for the future. Round of applause for them. I also want to acknowledge all of the La Grange Business Association board members that are here today. So if you would please stand. Joe Rock, Brian Fry, Dan Spain, Janet Garreau, and Steve Palmer. We all helped in preparing today's event. So, make sure that you say thank you to each one of those participants as well. I also want to say thank you to Plymouth Place for hosting. What a beautiful venue, beautiful luncheon. We are very gracious and honored that you allowed us to use your facility today. So thank you to Plymouth Place as well. So next up, Stephanie Posey with Posey Law Group. She's my current vice president for the La Grange Business Association, and she is your moderator today for our State of La Grange event. Please welcome her.
Thank you. So I'm delighted to be here today and moderating this panel. It has been quite a year since the last State of La Grange. As I was thinking about today, if 2021 was all about surviving and containing the dumpster fire, or rather 2020, it was all about containing the dumpster fire that was the pandemic, I think 2021 is about the pivots and being creative with solving the problems that were kind of unearthed and brought to light during 2020. So today our goal is to find some inspiration and innovation from these industry leaders and local professionals. As far as the format, our panelists are going to be giving about a 10-minute program, or rather 10 minutes where they'll speak on a topic of their choice. I promise we won't blow the mic as your out music.
It wasn't my fault.
And then at the end, we reserve time for you to ask any questions. This is my favorite event that the LGBA puts on every year, and part of it is this interaction that you have with these really terrific leaders of our community, so please don't be shy. We will be coming around to collect those questions. There's some index cards on your on your tables. And I think we also have some pencils there too, which are for golf scores. Questions. Okay, so, and now, without further ado, let's introduce our panel. We have, first up, we have Mark Cookler. Mark was appointed to the village board to serve as village president in February 2020. Well done, taking over right as the pandemic unfolded. And Mark has served as a village trustee since 2007. He's a founding partner at the trial firm of Williamson and Cookler in Chicago, and he's also a certified public accountant. His background includes being a legal advisor for the Office of the Illinois State Comptroller's Merit Commission and a hearing officer for the Office of the Illinois Secretary of State's Motor Vehicle Review Board. In addition, he's a member of many bar associations. Mark is also a longtime resident of La Grange, where he and his wife have raised 4 successful children. Next up, we'll hear from Adam Maycock. Adam is the president and CEO of Amita Health Adventist Medical Centers, serving Hinsdale and La Grange. Adam previously served as the Chief Operating Officer, bringing his extensive leadership experience to the organization. In this role, he managed the successful renovation of the cardiac catheterization labs on both medical campuses, as well as the expansion of the outpatient pavilion in La Grange. In addition to leading day-to-day operations, Adam has played an integral role in leading both medical campuses through the COVID pandemic, which cannot have been an easy task to do, so thank you for that. Before working at Amita, Adam worked in market research, strategy, and ambulatory and acute care operations for more than 14 years. Our next panelist will be Brian Waterman. Brian is the superintendent of La Grange Township High School District 204. He previously served there as principal, and he came to La Grange after having served as the principal of Hinsdale South for 6 years. He began his career in education in 1999 as a business education teacher at Westmont High School. Next, we will hear from Linda Dressler. Linda is the immediate past president of the Main Street Organization of Realtors and is currently a broker and realtor at Remax Suburban. Linda works with investors, individuals, and families looking for change, whether you're selling, buying, renting, investing. Her philosophy is she educates her clients. She will fiercely negotiate on your behalf and facilitate the real estate transaction effortlessly to make any living transition as smooth as possible. I love her motto, which is helping from the heart. And then finally, we'll hear from Eric Wagner. Eric is the president and CEO of Visit Oak Park, which is the state certified convention and visitors bureau, serving Oak Park and the surrounding neighborhoods in western Cook County, which includes La Grange. We are a new member of that group. Prior to joining Visit Oak Park, Eric served as the assistant deputy director of the Illinois Office of Tourism. In this role, he was responsible for developing and managing the state's public relation programs and directing the state's marketing campaigns for attracting domestic and international visitors to Illinois. During his tenure, he played an integral role in leading the Illinois Office of Tourism to 3 consecutive years of record-breaking visitations to the state. We hope he does that for La Grange as well. So please enjoy our panel, and first up is Mark Cookler.
When she said we were going to be giving predictions, I think, I was to say one thing that I learned since being village president is I'm not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. I guess my only prediction would be I fear that the Chicago Bears are going to continue to struggle. So as far as predictions go, and that's probably as far as I'm going to be able to say today. I do want to join in thanking Plymouth Place as well as Nancy Cummings and the board for organizing this and hosting this event. I appreciate the opportunity to give some updates about La Grange. And of course, since we are in 2020, 2021, I do have to mention COVID. It has been challenging for us all, but I think you'll all agree that really the toughest challenges are with the 2 gentlemen to my left, both the hospital and the high school. They've really had the challenges of dealing with COVID. Their staff are true heroes as far as all the nursing and medical professionals, the teachers, administrators, and support staff at the high school. So I don't want to make it sound like anything I'm saying today is a complaint. I realize that they really had to carry the weight. But, and that being said, all the things I'm saying, we're in the village, we're very fortunate to have a professional staff and very hardworking staff. So the accomplishments that I'm going to mention today have really been done by our village staff. We're led by Andrew Peterson, village manager, our community director, Charity Jones, who I know you all have worked with and continue to work with. They're here today, so I want to thank them for all their efforts. And again, despite the unpredictability of the pandemic, La Grange has many highlights with more on the horizon. With regard to economic development, La Grange, due to COVID, has really focused more than ever on supporting our local businesses. We're continuing with physical enhancements like outdoor dining, parklets in the summer, and enhanced displays in the winter to draw visitors to our downtown area. Our entire business community benefits from our aggressive marketing and promotional campaigns that we've executed in partnership with the LGBA and also with Ripson Communications. Just to give you some few statistics, last year these efforts resulted in 100,000 views on social media, 30 on-air broadcasts, and more than a dozen print articles. We've also recently partnered with Visit Oak Park and have already begun to benefit from the broadened marketing reach provided by this new partnership, and we look forward to deepening our partnership in the future. La Grange has welcomed 50 new businesses going all the way back to January of 2020. They include Marco's Kitchen, Elm Restaurant, Milk Money Brewing, Peak Running, Billy Brick's Woodfire Pizza, the Original Pancake House, Pazzo Bene, Wonderful Maca, Certified Custom Printing, GMP Italiano, and Vagabond Botanicals. New businesses coming soon: Chad's Cheesecake at 15 West Harris, La Mom Kitchen at 19 West Callender, Five and Dime Brick and Mortar at 30 South La Grange Road, and that's going to be our second kind of shared workspace. They'll have upstairs will be complete shared workspace, downstairs will be a part shared workspace, and a part retail component up front. We're happy to report that La Grange has been awarded the Best Downtown in Cook County by Suburban Life 2021 Reader Choice Award, and the special Best of publication is coming out today or tomorrow in the Suburban Life. We're grateful for all the new businesses, but we're equally grateful for all the existing businesses who have retained in La Grange through these trying times. The perseverance and ingenuity of our local owners is admirable and it's appreciated. Our residents are also to be commended. They understand the importance of shopping local. I think it's something that the LGBA really emphasizes as well, and I know that our residents are here to support all of you. Our unique business is in our community. One of the unique businesses is the theater, and we're thrilled to welcome Classic Cinemas as the new operator. I know Dan Chop, John Rod are here. We thank them for working with the village on coming to this agreement. The village recently voted unanimously in support of a plan to transition the La Grange Theater to a first-run premier movie destination. The plan includes Classic Cinema entering into a long-term lease with the theater and investing significantly to bring the theater to a first-run status with a full suite of modern customer amenities. Under the agreement, the village will release the theater property owners from the current $1 million lien on the property and establish a 50-cent per ticket entertainment tax. Based on Classic Cinema's projections, the tax will generate approximately $100,000 annually. Under the agreement, 50% of the tax will be rebated to Classic Cinemas, and the other 50% will be retained by the village for economic development purposes. The tax will remain in effect so long as the theater remains. That'll allow us, again, to continually invest in our downtown for the purpose of economic development to support all of your businesses. The village staff is now working with Classic Cinemas and the theater building owners to prepare the appropriate legal documents to execute the plan. Once leased, Classic Cinema has extensive construction plans, and the theater space will hopefully open in early 2022. So we'll continue to work with them. We know that it's a driver for downtown La Grange. It's an amenity that the residents really appreciate, and it's one of our focuses on moving forward on that. There's been a lot of construction activity in La Grange. It remains very brisk. It's exceeding our typical levels by 25%. Aspired Living La Grange completed construction of their 117-unit assisted living memory care facility just to the south of us. And we had a ribbon cutting there last year. There's also been the construction at the 8.8 acre site for the Masonic Home Properties. The Mason Point development includes 12 single-family homes as well as 58 townhomes and is on track to be substantially completed this year, which is a year ahead of schedule. Like so many industries, COVID has accelerated demand for more remote and online options. In 2022, we'll be acquiring and implementing new software which will streamline and modernize building permit and business licensing processes. We know that's important to all of you. One of the features we anticipate as a result of the new software is the ability for the public to look at the status of their permits online and obviously help with convenience issues. Capital projects, looking ahead, the village will continue to invest in our business climate by investing in our physical environment. The first phase of the multi-stage project to refresh the downtown streetscape will begin this fall. We are fortunate to receive a grant from the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, and that will fund a portion of the work. There's a lot of people know, and our residents are quick to tell us, flooding is an issue. Flooding needs to be a priority for the village board. It does impact not only the residents, it has impacts to the emergency responders getting to the hospital, families getting to schools, families being able to do homework so that the kids can learn, and just all the residents generally. The village continues to aggressively pursue all avenues to provide flooding relief. We have pending litigation against the quarry. It has delayed some of our activities, but we're moving forward in that regard. We've also retained Chris Burke Engineering to study some alternatives, maybe some short-term projects that can be done, as well as evaluating our overall scope of our flood mitigation plans. We will continue to petition county, state, and federal leaders to implement regional solutions, provide funding support to La Grange so we can meaningfully address this regional problem. Over the last 2 years, the village board has increased funding for neighborhood street improvements. Some of our water and sewer infrastructure is over 100 years, so replacing that has to be a priority. Last year, the village resurfaced several residential streets around Amita Health La Grange. This year, we did portions on Elm, Maple, and Goodman Avenues. They were all resurfaced. The village continues to work with the county, state, and federal partners to identify funding for replacement of our infrastructure. We're also working with IDOT, as well as partnering with Brookfield and McCook on the project at 47th and East Avenue, putting in signals there where the four-way stop is, as well as improving some of the sewers. As a highly walkable community, we continue to work with our neighbors and our other partners to promote pedestrian and bicycle safety. Our police department continues their pedestrian safety awareness campaign, which is Be the Change, Travel Safely in La Grange. Last year, pedestrian warning signals were installed in key student crossings areas near LT's North Campus. The village has also been working with Metro on improvements to the La Grange Road train station and plans to add a restroom to the Stone Avenue train station. As far as finance and strategic planning, all of these efforts, from capital improvements to operational initiatives, are made possible by careful financial stewardship. Last year, as well as for the past 26 years, the village received the Distinguished Budget Presentation Award. This award is a distinctive achievement and reflects La Grange's unwavering commitment to the highest principles of government budgeting, financing, and reporting. Because of the strong legacy of sound financial planning, the village has healthy reserves and is well positioned to meet our challenges, which we know are coming. The village board regularly dedicates time to plan for the future through strategic planning sessions held every year. Earlier this week, the board convened to identify key initiatives to support our priority of continually enhancing the quality of life in La Grange. One of the topics that was discussed of interest to the downtown businesses is parking and the restaurant parklet program. We're going to be asking the business owners whether they want to continue with allowing the parklets, the dining on the streets, or would they like to use those spots for more commuter parking? How does that work? How's that balance? And then we'll be implementing those ideas in partnership with all the business owners. Our community is fortunate to have a dedicated group of residents serving as trustees. I'm very honored to serve with them and collaborate to continually move forward with the La Grange. I also want to again thank the LGBA, the officers, Nancy Cummings for organizing this and for all the work they do to make our job a little bit easier. So thanks.
It's a privilege to be here with you today. As introduced, my name is Adam Maycock. I've lived here in the western suburbs for going on 5 years. My family and I moved from Orlando, Florida in January, and we quickly realized the September that we came and interviewed is a little different in January. But we figured out how to survive winters and have really enjoyed being part of this community. We were really close to living on South Stone, but hopefully one day we can call La Grange home. My family and I, you mentioned La Grange was voted the best downtown, and if my wife was here, she would say yes. I agree. We love visiting La Grange and more importantly, visiting the wonderful establishment here. One other setup, you mentioned predictability with the Bears. How about the Bulls, though? 4-0. That's pretty cool. Yeah. First time in 25 years. I think we know what happened 25 years ago, right? We won't get ahead of ourselves, but we'll take 4-0. It's been a year and a half since I took over, and as was mentioned in your introduction, Mark, taking over in the middle of a pandemic, there was no playbook for that. They didn't teach you that in business school. Can you imagine that? But more importantly, as mentioned, we were really the front lines of the pandemic, and I think it's important to just call out the caregivers, physicians, staff who didn't get the chance to go home and work from home and disconnect from what was happening out in the community. They charged ahead, and couldn't be more thankful and gracious to them for sticking that out, as well as being able to lead through that. There's nothing like a challenge or things like a pandemic that come around once a century, and that call out leadership. And to me, this room is a reflection of leaders of our community and how important it is for us to be able to step up as leaders in times of challenge. 65 years for La Grange Hospital in the community. Many of you are already familiar with the history of how it started as a very local initiative of physicians and business leaders saying we need a hospital in our community. And it served a long legacy already of over 65 years. And though brand names have changed over the years, one thing hasn't changed is the opportunity to serve the health needs of this community. And again, we're just grateful for that long legacy. Our mission of Amita Health and really hasn't changed through, and I'll get to some of the more recent changes from that standpoint, has been to extend the healing ministry of Christ. And I'm proud of that as not only the CEO of the hospital, but as a Christian leading a faith-based organization. It's an important mission statement that regardless of your faith background, we believe that there's an awesome work that we have the opportunity to extend with grace and with compassion. And that's ultimately the opportunity that we like to extend to our team members and extend to those who trust us with their healthcare each and every day that they walk in. There's a little saying I've picked up over the years, working on 20 years in the industry, which is every patient, every time. And that's the focus. You can't think of it as the hundreds or thousands of people you may serve. It's each person every time is a different experience, and we try and meet those expectations. It's unique. I was sharing with a few people when I walked in to have such a fabulous hospital in a community that equals, and in some cases, better outcomes than some of the academics downtown. And that may or may not be taken for granted, but it's something that I'm really proud of, to have a facility that you look at our rating agencies like CMS or more consumer facing like Leapfrog, that we have top ratings in those areas. And that that is not a testament of there's still work that can be done to improve, but it is a reflection of you do not have to leave your community for excellent care, and we're proud to be able to be part of this community delivering on that promise. We serve obviously many communities in La Grange proper. We're close to 50% of those that live in La Grange that choose to stay in the community for care. You know, obviously as any business, you want to grow that number, but when people have a choice, we want them to know that we have the ability to meet that need for them right in their own backyard. Partnerships help us along that path. Many of you represent the partnerships that we have extended, but also have others that I'd mentioned with Shirley Ryan Ability Lab. I feel like it's a little known secret that one of the top rehab hospital in the country we have a partnership with in this community, and to extend that care. Lurie Children's Hospital is another example. And then a little more local with Pillars Community Health. We've recently partnered on providing care for those vulnerable patients of our population, and how we extend that care from hospital into the community is an important partnership. And then getting even more local with physician partnerships, those that call La Grange home, where they leave the hospital and have a short commute or sometimes a walk to their home. Mike DuPont or Jerry Simon, who've been part of the community for a long time, are just excellent extensions of the partnership that has to go on every day to make a hospital work and function. And so we're just grateful for those. As mentioned in the introduction, serving two campuses, both in the La Grange community and the Hinsdale community, we've been on a journey of really creating a enhanced experience for our community, in the sense of not having to choose one hospital or the other for a particular service, but really get specialized in certain areas. So not too long ago, we began a journey in 2015 of specializing in certain areas at one facility or another. And we like to call it one hospital across two campuses, but really what that means is similar to the investment that was highlighted in the introduction of our Orthopedic Joint Institute. And if you've driven down Willow Springs Road, you'll see really what has become our front door and a marquee program for the La Grange campus. But in addition to cardiac services or the inpatient rehab program in partnership with Shirley Ryan, we're doing similar things on the Hinsdale campus as it relates to women's and children's services, neurosciences, and we have our Cancer Institute down the street, but also highlighting our cancer program at those. So still having the typical community services and ER and basic services that you would expect, but also specializing in some really unique service lines as well in that journey of elevating the care in our community. So we have about 2,000 employees that call our campuses home. And to me, for this room, that's opportunity. It's opportunity where both, is there a chance to live closer to your place of work? Is it an opportunity to visit the business establishments in the community? I bought a number of Christmas gifts last year from a few of the downtown businesses. Is it a place to order in lunch for your department or your unit on any given day? But though it is both opportunity, it is also a privilege to create a unique experience and culture for those 2,000 employees that call this place home. Many of you have been challenged with staffing through, I believe you've seen maybe in many periodicals or on the news, on the great, and it just left me, resignation. Thank you. You've heard it before. I heard it in the room, the great resignation. And though you may have experienced it, we certainly have experienced it as well. Apparently I talk low because I just got a little more volume out of this mic. Hopefully you're hearing me okay. But that is something that we're very intentionally focused on, and a healthy and strong community like La Grange allows us to be able to attract and retain employees that call our campuses home. And so we're thankful to be able to continue that partnership. We took a step in that direction a few weeks ago where we partnered with the LGBA on the health initiatives and partnered with Wheelies Coffee, and our health and wellness collaboration also extended beyond that. But it was really the first foray, if you will, for myself to tell our associates about what we're doing, share a little bit about one of the local businesses, and then extend that even further with, just to name a few, Orange Theory, Daily Method, Lux Honor. We also did with an event with the Park District. There's a few home-based businesses that we partnered with. And then throughout the summer, we continued that relationship with the farmers market, and typically been participated with the pet parade as well, and many other community-based initiatives. But again, the opportunity there for me is how do we continue those type of partnerships, and how do we continue to take really, we've mentioned it a couple times in my conversations with Mark in the village around being the largest employer in the village of La Grange. How do we extend that outside the walls of our hospital to be more of a part of the community, and not just a place where people come for care, but we also extend that outside those walls. So it's not necessarily big news in the sense of maybe the outside world, but there was a big news to us about a week ago where Advent Health and Ascension both announced that they are unwinding AMITA. And so that logo, oh yeah, there it is. That logo there may or may not exist in the future on the walls of our hospital or business cards or at next year's town hall. And so there's more questions than answers that I have at this point, but what I am clear on is, again, after 20 years of being part of Advent Health and Advent Health still owning the La Grange facility, I'm clear that our future is bright and that we have a very unique opportunity to, I like the word you used, Stephanie, to pivot, not only during a time of a pandemic, coming out of a pandemic, but transitions like this. Advent Health is a strong organization, both in culture and in clinical performance and excellence and financial backing. And so I'm excited that we're able to make a step in that direction. And I imagine there will be things that you will see and hear in a very unique way. I see you standing up, Stephanie. Am I over my time? I want to be honest with it. I'm over it.
From our official time.
Okay, good. 60 seconds. COVID was a unique time. I know I mentioned it. It's changed healthcare. It will continue to change healthcare. Virtual visits, creating experiences in the home to receive your healthcare. Those are the type of things that we will be talking about engaging with as a healthcare delivery system in the La Grange community. I was, again, talking with someone else earlier. The La Grange has an older demographic, if you will. We want to be able to create experiences for the people that call La Grange home. And again, take advantage of the change that has been expedited through this time and bring those resources to meet the needs of those consumers of this market. So I'm looking forward to what that turns into. And again, those shifts in care we will lead in for our community. And so I'm happy to take questions on that as we move on, but I won't take any more time than I have already. So thank you for allowing me to share a little bit about it.
My name is Brian Waterman. I'm superintendent at Lyons Township High School District 204, and really honored to be here as part of this group and speaking with a group of leaders in the La Grange community. I'm in my first year as superintendent after spending the previous 7 years as principal at LT, and as mentioned earlier, spent some time as principal at Hinsdale. My wife Julie and I have 3 high school age boys. We live in Downers Grove, but obviously spend a lot of time in this community as well, simply because I work here, so it's a great community. I joined Adam back in the spring for a meeting as we were kind of starting in this role, and it's been a combination of congratulations for becoming superintendent and what were you thinking for becoming superintendent as well. But I'm focusing more on the congratulatory piece, and it really has been a good school year. Some quick facts about LT. We've been a partner in this community since 1888. And I can look around the room and have so many examples of different ways that we've partnered with the business community, and I'm going to share a few of those in a few minutes. We, as of a few hours ago, our enrollment is 4,051 students. So we've always been about 1,000 students per class. We'll fluctuate, maybe give or take 100 or 2 students, but at least back to the early 70s, we've been about 4,000 students. There were times when LT was over 5,000 students. Obviously spread across 2 campuses. Our South Campus over in Western Springs is our freshman, sophomore campus, and then our North Campus here in La Grange is juniors, seniors. We also maintain the Corral, which houses our transition program and some events for students as well. We have a transition house, we have a Vaughn building, so really 5 total buildings or campuses that we maintain. About 550 to 600 employees at any given moment, depending upon temporary employees and things like that. Operating budget of about $85 million each year. And really, most importantly, have done our best to maintain an emphasis on our motto, which is Vita Plena, the quest for the fulfilling life. And that's something that we really try to emphasize to our students and to our staff. We really feel like we're the definition of a comprehensive high school. We have 350 to 400 courses available to our students, in addition to the basics of English and math and science and social studies and physical welfare. We have a very robust elective program. We have an aviation program where students can complete their private pilot's license before they graduate. We have a scuba diving program where students can get certified to scuba dive before they graduate. Students can participate in information technology courses and get certified in that. As of 2 weeks ago, our Board of Education approved a new list of courses in the future, one of which is an Intro to Healthcare Careers course, which we're doing some partnership with La Grange Hospital. So we're really proud of the different ways that we do partner with our business community and everyone here. Just to highlight a few other ones. We're now in year 3 of our incubator program. So many of the business leaders in La Grange, probably some people in this room, are serving as community champions for our students, which is really an entrepreneurship program, which allows students to think about entrepreneurship from concept to business product development. And so we're fortunate to have a group of people that come in and mentor our students, support our students. That's been organized by our teacher, Krista Wilcox, and our division chair, Paul Houston. We're in year 3 also of partnering with the Community Memorial Foundation and Greg with the Young Changemakers program, which allows about 20 to 25 students from LT as well as a group of students from other high schools to learn all about philanthropy. And they're taken through a curriculum on philanthropy, and then at the end of it, they're able to actually identify community organizations and charitable organizations that they can support and provide funds to. So that's been a fantastic program, and again, we're excited to move into year 3 of that. We have so many of our students in the transition program, which is our population ages 18 to 22 with special needs, who work in the community, and that's really only possible by businesses opening up their doors and providing that opportunity for our students to participate in. Something recent, our new principal is Jen Tyrell, joining us from Sandburg High School as of this year. And then we have a new director of equity and belonging, Jen Rowe, joining us from Naperville. They've partnered with students and community to open up a care space at each campus, which allows our students to have access to basic needs, toiletry needs, hygiene needs, school supplies, a whole host of things. And they did an event during the pet parade, actually, that resulted in a ton of donations and financial support to get those care spaces up and running. And so that's something we're very excited about as well. I mentioned the the health careers connection with the hospital. As Mark said, we partner with the village all the time. There's not a lot of time that goes by that we're not talking about some upgrade or improvement. Obviously, our work with Chief Cates in the La Grange Police Department has been critical the last several years, and so we're always working with them as well. As I start this tenure as superintendent in my first year, some things that we're really looking at this year, number one is just communication. That's something that's obviously very important. We're making attempts to increase transparency around our board meetings, or all of our board meetings are now live streamed, communicating ahead of the meeting, also sending out information following the meeting that just provides kind of a summary of the action taken and some of the items that were discussed. Trying to increase communication from LT to our parent community, to our student community, in terms of what's happening on a week-to-week basis. We've increased our social media presence with some additional accounts, and we're right now in the process. We just sent out a survey today, actually, to our community about redesigning our website, just to take a look at the functionality, making sure that things are easy to find, and so that's a project that we're really excited about also. I would say another really important goal this year that is connected to what high schools are trying to accomplish, but certainly has been exacerbated with the pandemic, is just social, emotional, and mental health support, and making sure that we're providing those resources and that support to our students. We've restructured our guidance counseling department as of the beginning of this year to provide more grade level support to students from the guidance counselor level. And then we also dedicated a couple days to kick off the year to really provide strategies and support to students from a social emotional learning perspective, rather than just diving in that first day and saying, let's get to work, right? So we want to make sure that students are comfortable there. We're renewing our commitment to equity and belonging at LT. We want to ensure, from a very simple goal perspective, we want to ensure that every one of our 4,051 students from all 11 of our communities feel like this is their school, feel like LT is a place that they're represented in, whether they're walking down the hallways. We want to make sure that they feel represented in our curriculum and our content, and we want to make sure they feel represented in the way we celebrate what we do as a school. And so that's been a very important process as well. That has shown up in a couple different ways, through student focus groups, through professional development for our staff, and just the ways that we celebrate our successes as a school. As we look ahead, one really big thing that's coming up, and I'm going to put out a plea to this group to become involved, is as of 2 weeks ago, we are engaging with Consortium for Educational Change to kick off a strategic planning process. And so that's something that I feel is very important from a stakeholder perspective. Certainly students are an important part of that, staff are an important part of that, our current parents are an important part of that, but we're also going to look for input from parents who will be at LT in several years. We're looking for input from our business community, leaders like yourselves, to really engage and be a part of that. We anticipated it'll be about a 6 to 8 month process, but will allow us to define our current reality, more importantly, define where we want to be and how that's going to look different from where we are now. But then also just set priorities and set objectives for the next 5 to 10 years. And as we move forward, we think that's a really important part of this. So be on the lookout for information. I will certainly coordinate that with the La Grange Business Association. If we have business leaders that are interested in giving input and being a part of that, we'd love to have your participation. On a more immediate level, as we look at facility upgrades that are coming pretty quickly, as you all know, we're already looking out, a couple years ahead of time, and the projects that we're planning for next summer have been being discussed for the last couple of years. So we have about $7 million in facilities upgrades planned for summer of 2022, most of which include HVAC upgrades, i.e. air conditioning improvements at our South Campus. And so if everything goes well, and that's a big if, right, because of just the labor market and because of supply chain issues. If everything goes well, we would add about 42 classrooms of air conditioning next summer at South Campus, which is probably the most significant air conditioning upgrade we've done in a single summer in quite some time. So that's kind of where we're at as a high school. Obviously very proud to be such a long-standing partner in this community, and just know that we don't take for granted for a second the support that we get from our parent community, our business community, and really all 11 of our communities. And we'll continue to look for opportunities to partner with each of you to help support our students, because at the end of the day, that's why we're here. So again, I appreciate having the opportunity to share a few words about Lyons Township High School, and I'm honored to be up here with this group.
My name is Linda Dressler. I am the immediate past president of the Main Street Organization of Realtors, and you may be saying, what the heck is that, right? So, like you have your business association here, La Grange Business Association, thank you for inviting me here today. We have a National Association of Realtors, we have state associations of realtors, and we have local associations of realtors. Main Street Organization of Realtors is one of those. We're a local association. We're the 7th largest in the country. We have 20,000 members, and we are part of about 200 different municipalities and cities. We're like a C around the city of Chicago, with offices in Tinley Park, Downers Grove, Rolling Meadows, and Libertyville. So we have a quite expansive area. So as Adam said, during the pandemic, right, we were lucky enough as real estate agents to be deemed essential workers, to be able to go out and help people with the basic need, the primary need of housing. However, not everyone was comfortable with that position. We had to, the pivot was our word over the last 18 months, to pivot to our clients' needs based on their comfort levels, to really step up the customer service, because it was no longer business in a box. It was, you really had to conform to what other people's ideas were, or you were in trouble, right? So what I brought with me today for you was a hyper-local look at last year versus this year, and you do have papers in front of you, and I just go to the next page. I hope it's this one.
Maybe.
No.
The other one. There you go.
There you go. You can see the numbers, because we've all heard buzzwords, right? You've all heard some kind of rumors and gossip and social media, and the real education is in the data, right? Especially, think about it, when you list a house, it doesn't matter how much you want to list it for. You could list it for whatever you want. You could list it for $1 million. You could list it for 2 cents in a chicken. But it's not going to sell, right? Unless you have the data, you'll see where they are selling, and that's what really makes a difference. So here what you're looking at, the interesting thing is the change in new listings is down, you don't have this piece, over 27% from last year. It is, the closed sales are down 9%, and the change in inventory is down 34, almost 35%. So if you guys are saying, oh my gosh, you know, as a buyer, on one hand, the property they're so high, I don't want to buy now. And the sellers are going, woohoo, woohoo, I can sell now and I can get a little bit more on my investment. It's not going to change, I don't forecast anytime soon. We've got the next 8 months to a year. If I had a crystal ball, I wish I could give you more exact information, but we're gonna ride this out. So inventory's increased a little bit, only because we've got people right now dipping their toe in the water because they've heard all the buzzwords. They've heard that they can sell high. It doesn't mean that they're getting their house prepared correctly to do so, unfortunately, but it is bringing on more inventory. So if you are a buyer who is interested in still fixing it up, you're in great shape, because these people haven't painted, they haven't regrouted, they haven't, you know, done the things necessary really to get it listed. So in looking at the numbers, the median sales price from September of 2020 to September of this year, you talk about growth, from $560 to $675. That's for a single family detached home, the median sales price here. We only closed 30 homes, or new listings were 30 homes, and we only closed 17 sales in all of La Grange. Oh, this one. All of La Grange. So think about that, right? In a populous area, only closing 17 homes. That's very, very small percentage. This has become, it's a national thing, and it's because of the pandemic. You know, usually we could say, okay, there's no inventory in California or Arizona or Las Vegas. You know, some of the warmer retirement spots, they're hot, and they trend this way about 4 to 6 months later. But because of the unsurety of everybody and not knowing where they're going to move, when they're going to move, how they're going to move, what's open, what this state has as a mandate, what this state is allowing, it has tightened that market, and it's going to stay that way for a little bit. I don't believe that that there is going to be any kind of market crash. The NAR's chief economist, Lawrence Yun, is saying that this isn't a bubble like what happened in 2007. That's when I joined real estate. What was I thinking? Not a good time to start, but I'm still here. So that's the good thing about it. You'll see in the attached dwellings too, and that was back a slide, this way, that the median sales price went from 170 up to 372. Think about that. That's insane. That's over 100% gain on attached dwellings. So now you ask yourself, okay, why are there more of those on the market, or why are those selling? If you had one of those as an investment property and you see the benefit of selling now and gaining 100% on what was sold last year, you're selling it. You may decide not to be a landlord and take with you all of the hassles of being a landlord and get out now while the getting out's good. Also, we're not sure what the moratorium on rent is going to cause for current landlords. You know, there is assistance, it depends on qualifications, but our landlord's going to want to get out of the business because of what's happened with this, you as an investor. So I see that the pricing is going to keep moving up. It is interest rates are down. The need for housing and need for inventory is going to keep going up. So if you ever want to search properties, feel free to go to succeedwithmore.com. We have a search feature there. I wanted to introduce Amy Roby. She's our Vice President of Marketing. In case I have to buzz out in true realtor fashion, I have an inspection this afternoon that I'll have to be attending. From a business perspective, Main Street does have affiliate opportunities. So if realtors are your power partners, you may want to go take a look at the Succeed with More website as well and see if there's some way that we can partner with you there. If you ever have any real estate related questions, be it residential or commercial, you can reach out to Amy or go to that website there. We could find you someone to answer any questions that you might have. Mine is just really short and sweet today, but I appreciate the opportunity to present to you. And if you have any questions, again, don't hesitate reaching out. Thank you.
Can I just say I love coming to any town that does a pet parade, so it's good to be here in La Grange today. Thank you, Nancy, and thank you to the LGBA for having me today. My name is Eric Wagner, and I am the president and CEO of Visit Oak Park. I'll explain a little bit more about that in a second. As was highlighted, prior to being president and CEO of Visit Oak Park, I was delighted to serve as the deputy state travel director for almost 4 years. I was delighted to have the opportunity to transform Enjoy Illinois into what it is today, being a really awesome powerhouse to help market the state, and was really delighted in 2018 to be able to have the opportunity to come to the Oak Park area and to serve as the travel CEO for Visit Oak Park. Oh, I left you a magazine, Enjoy Illinois, as part. So we do live in a great state. We really do, and I think everyone should go out and enjoy it. And so I've included Travel Magazines, which is the magazine that we created when I was at the Office of Tourism. I brought you all copies so that you can get out and explore our state and hopefully spend a night in a hotel, because that helps my budget. Just for some context, you're probably wondering, why is someone from Oak Park here? Go back to the People's Republic of Oak Park. Oak Park, Visit Oak Park is actually the Regional Tourism Bureau serving the village of Oak Park and the 19 suburban communities in western Cook County, including La Grange, which is our newest partner community. Illinois, as you can imagine, does everything funky, and especially with its tourism funding model. And Illinois is the only state that actually funds local tourism bureaus. It's a very unique opportunity. And when we were created in 1993, we were created using the Village of Oak Park's hotel tax to help us get our state funding. It's very complicated, and if you are really bored, I can go into details. But in exchange for the Village of Oak Park's hotel tax, we needed to be called Visit Oak Park. That's what the Village of Oak Park mandated as part of this. But nonetheless, we do represent all 20 communities, and I've been working really hard to help incorporate them all into our marketing. Even though our name is Visit Oak Park, I've got some creative solutions for that. I am going to contend here today that we are entering a new golden age of travel. I don't know if it's going to be quite like this, but we are entering a new global age of travel. And I want to talk a little bit about some of the macroeconomics. I'm a University of Chicago nerd, and so I love to talk economics. And there's a lot of really interesting trends going on right now. They were alluded to earlier by my colleague here on the panel. We are right now going through what's called the Great Resignation. The U.S. has seen a record number of workers leave their jobs. In August of this month, almost 4.3 million workers quit their jobs. Particularly hit hard the travel, the leisure and hospitality sector, with almost 1 million jobs there alone. Resignation rates are at a 20-year high, hitting 2.9%. What is behind all of this? Quite frankly, the pandemic. It's behind everything right now, and it has forced many Americans to take a hard look at their lives and reevaluate their careers. To make matters even more complicated, recent surveys are finding that 55% of workers plan to look for a new job in the coming year, and 56% said adjustable work hours and remote work were a priority. So if things were interesting now, they're going to get interesting in the coming year. With the pandemic, as I referenced, Americans have had time to step back and to spend time doing other things that question the value of their work. Quite frankly, people are looking for simplicity in their lives, and they're looking for more work-life balance. The pandemic has also uniquely given people time to actually find new careers. Obviously, working women have faced the brunt of this, carrying the burdens of not only childcare duties, but virtual learning and their careers at the same time. So it's no surprise that we've seen women exiting the workforce in record numbers. The work-life balance is more important than ever right now. Some interesting stats: more than 1/3 of the workforce and half of Gen Z workers plan to switch jobs in the next year, especially employees struggling with time and productivity pressures. And at least half of enterprise workers would switch jobs for more work-life balance, to be more in control of their schedules and to be able to work remotely. This is especially true with Gen Z and millennial workers, who are our joys. They're always the special workers for everything. It's no surprise that as part of the Great Resignation, that work from home is a big factor right now. Workers have been unwilling to give up their autonomy. Burnout and mental health is another factor. Reports of burnout are at all-time highs, and burnout is the number one predictor of people quitting their jobs. Another factor is increased economic independence. This is primarily for super wealthy Americans, but what we're seeing is that early retirements are up, and so too are sabbaticals and people taking breaks from the workforce in general. It should come as no surprise that we've got labor shortages like we've never seen in a long time. In August 21, there were 10.6 million jobs This labor shortage might not be a new phenomenon. What the Bureau of Labor Statistics has found is that the rate of employee resignations per month has gone up steadily over the past 20 years. To entice workers back, employers have come up with incentives ranging from college tuition to signing bonuses. We've seen some interesting trends with Target announcing that they're going to pay 100% of college tuition and textbooks. I wish they did that when I was in college. Chipotle, Starbucks, and Walmart are offering similar things. What employers are finding is that there's a high price for these resignations, and it's only going to continue. What analysts are saying is that the wave of resignations could lead to improvement in the lives of both workers and organizations that employ them. If there's one silver lining, it's that with this many resignations, there's a lot of talented employees out there who are not working. This is actually a unique opportunity for organizations to improve in order to increase their talent pool. Many employees are already responding and giving their workers flexibility, and that's leading to what I'm calling the new golden age of travel. What we're seeing is the travel recovery is going to become the travel revolution. We used to quite simply live in one place, work in another, and travel to a third place. Now all of those places could be one place, and that place can be wherever you want it to be. People have flexibility. They can travel at any time, they can go anywhere, and they can live in many more locations. Flexibility is quite frankly changing the game of travel. Over the next year, we're going to see a huge shift from business to leisure travel. But the more people are at home, the more they want to travel. But this time, they're going to go everywhere. They're going to go to big cities, they're going to go to small towns, and they're going to go to rural communities, which is what they've been doing over the past year during the pandemic. Once our borders reopen, you're going to see people travel, and they're going to start living abroad more. Summers are going to be times when people go away and they work remotely, which I'm down for. Technology, it's crazy to think this, but the technology we're living in right now is the worst it's going to be. It's only going to improve. The world is going to continue to get more flexible. People are going to continue to have more options, and we'll be, quite frankly, in a world where people don't go back to work 5 days a week and where some business travel will return. Travel is going to be just as different as the new world we're entering post-pandemic. Leisure travel is going to be huge, especially to smaller towns. We saw this last year, and I think it's a huge opportunity for smaller towns like La Grange. Stays are going to be longer as employers give more flexibility. 3-day trends will be every weekend. Many will go away for the entire summer. You're going to see travel, living, and working are all going to blur together. Now more than ever, we're seeing employees dictating what employers do. Employers want top talent. After compensation, flexible work policies will become the top benefit for employees. The younger the company, the more they're going to be willing to embrace a hybrid and remote work model. We're already seeing this. Tech always leads the way. Silicon Valley always leads the way. They have younger CEOs, they're younger companies, and they're more willing to adapt to accommodate their younger employees. And so I think we're going to see this starting with them and shifting to other companies. The trend is going to be towards more flexibility, not less. We're seeing employers already respond to this. I wish I had one of these, but employers are offering remote work holidays as new employee benefits. We're also seeing some interesting trends with hotels being turned into co-work spaces to create more work environments. Accor Brands, for example, is starting to reimagine their spaces and their services to accommodate this co-working environment. And experiential travel, which was a huge trend going up to the pandemic, is only going to get bigger. People can only stay at home and watch Netflix for so long. People have to get out, whether they're visiting or whether they're in their own city. Special activities, experiences, and tours with a local expert are going to be great alternatives and great excursions for people, in addition to going out to a restaurant or a bar. We're already seeing a massive change in the city of Chicago. in particular on Michigan Avenue. With the decrease in retail on Michigan Avenue, we're seeing a huge increase in entertainment, in particularly the creation of new experiential experiences. On Michigan Avenue this year is going to be coming the Dr. Seuss experience, the Office experience based on the TV show, and there's going to be a new museum of ice cream. These are all new amenities that are taking the place of retail space in a dramatically changing environment with retail. Navy Pier is making a major shift as well to more experiences. They're getting rid of the old Crystal Gardens and they're putting in a new Illuminarium. I would contend that this is a huge opportunity for La Grange. Tourism is the first state of economic development. Economic development begins with a visit. People come, they visit, then they come back and they open up a business, they buy a home, etc. The new golden age of travel offers a unique opportunity for La Grange. You have a very cute and charming downtown that people want to visit. If I had some advice for those of you in the room, it would be to adapt quickly to the post-COVID world and seize on these new opportunities. For businesses, I would encourage you to create unique, authentic experiences for your customers. That is what people are looking for. That is what differentiates you from McDonald's or Arby's or whatever. For the LGBA, I would encourage you to continue to support small businesses and help them adapt the best way they can. For the Village, I would encourage you to support development of new events, experiences, and tours that attract visitors. I would encourage you to capitalize on the great things that this village has to offer, in particular your architecture and your food. Last slide, I promise. I am actually more excited than ever before after a very challenging year for tourism. I'm more encouraged than ever before about where Visit Oak Park is going and our potential to help support the recovery. Prior to the pandemic, Visit Oak Park made a number of changes to help meet the demands of today's consumer. We created a new website, a new brand. We also made a dramatic shift into digital marketing. We are literally at the forefront of digital marketing and capturing people's data and using it to help target and retarget to capture them and get them what they are interested in coming for. The pandemic hit us very hard. We're funded by hotel taxes, so we lost all of that overnight. But as to borrow a phrase, we are building back better, and I am really excited about what we're doing to complete the work on our website, to install our new data collection tools, to get our new content on La Grange added on our website. We're also using new technologies like Bandwango, which will help us curate and create new experiences and travel itineraries for people coming to our area, like the taco tour or the beef and dog tours, things like that to get people to all of our communities. We also are launching a new earned media strategy to help get media coverage and publicity for all of our communities, our attractions, and our small businesses. And we've been producing a number of new video and photo assets. Content is king. It always has been. It always will be. The number one thing that gets people is video. We are producing a number of new videos. We are just finished shooting a new video that will help us produce a new commercial to help us promote La Grange specifically. I'm excited that this summer we were able to launch with our restored funding from the governor and from the Village of Oak Park. We were able to restore and execute a $200,000 digital marketing campaign where we actually work with a vendor called Arrivalist that enables us to put our ads in, and when you click on our ads with your phone, we're in your phone and we can actually track you with cell phone data, and we can actually see if you came to our area to help show ROI. And I'm really excited about where we're going next spring. We're going to be launching over a $500,000 campaign in support of our recovery. And I'm even more excited because I geek out on this, but we're going to be using credit card data, which is key and which will help us target and retarget and micro-target to consumers and making sure that they come out here. So if there are people in Chicago on an architecture boat tour, you're going to see my ads for architecture tours in Oak Park and La Grange and Riverside. That is the future we live in. I love it, but I know it freaks a lot of people out. Also, we are in the middle of also pursuing some additional ARPA funding support from the county, so I will keep you posted on that. If we were able to get this support, it will enhance our marketing efforts and be able to help us accelerate the recovery for our area. I'm sure I'm over, so thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
All right, so Linda, this question is for you. What is your organization doing to ensure your agents and showing properties are showing properties equitably to minority families in all areas of La Grange?
Oh, that's a good question. We had a big initiative this year on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and realizing that while we may feel comfortable at the table, people looking in from the outside may not feel as comfortable looking in and feeling like they belong. So we have been promoting diversity, equity, and inclusion. We are mandated by fair housing laws here in the state, so you better be treating people the same way no matter where they're from or what they look like. There are spotters sometimes that come out and actually test people to make sure that they're treating people fairly. But Main Street Organization of Realtors has always been in the forefront at making sure that that our clients and customers and people are taken care of. We live in our area is a melting pot, right? We've got all kinds of people around, and we need to just make sure that everybody has the right to own a home, no matter where they're from or what color their skin is.
Adam, we have a question for you. This relates to, you had mentioned that healthcare is kind of also going through a pivot. There's some disruptors in terms of providing virtual healthcare online. So our question is, where do you see the online Zoom healthcare going?
So there's a lot of, I love the kind of framing with statistical evidence. There's a lot of information that's coming out on really what direction that's headed in. What we're experiencing so far is lower levels of care, urgent care, primary care are moving from an outpatient standpoint, much more virtual. That's become almost a standard, if not also a standard. But then on the inpatient side, we're seeing the evolution of what's being called hospital at home. So if you have a lower level of hospital need that's typically taken care of in the hospital, there are virtual options for you to receive that care from your own bedroom through virtual technologies. And we're actually in the development stage right now to deliver that care. So, and then there's always been more virtual care from the hospital as well. So as the Great Resignation happens, even within physicians who have been practicing 20 years and they've become burnt out, we have virtual options to be able to engage with highly specialized physicians all over Chicagoland and across the country to deliver that care. So it's only the beginning, I'm clear on that.
Thank you. Mark, we have a couple questions for you. The first one, I think, was inspired by the Visit Oak Park tax. We have a question wondering if the movie tax can be changed, can be increased, I think, if I'm understanding this question correctly, so that the Visit Oak Park is changed to Visit Oak Park in La Grange.
I'm all in favor of changing the name, so I'll definitely go with that. Maybe make it La Grange Oak Park, but just because it's alphabetical.
To be continued.
Right.
There's also another question here, and then I think unless there's other ones, we'll wrap it up after this one. Mark, this is also directed to you. This relates to the parking situation. So apparently the good news is we're gonna have a lot of people coming to visit our really charming downtown. We have lots of new businesses that will pop up, but where are they gonna park? And how is the village, what this question is asking is the village doing any studies? Are they, is that part of the looking forward plan?
Sure. So parking has been a challenge in La Grange. The parking deck that we built several years ago is helpful. It is on the east side of La Grange Road. A lot of our businesses, restaurants are on the west side of La Grange Road. But there's usually spots available in the parking deck when there aren't in some of the other areas. As far as studies, we've been planning, and COVID kind of knocked it off on conducting the parking study, because right as COVID happened, the restaurants shut down, nobody was parking downtown. But it is something we're planning on doing. And again, with the parklets that do take up some of the spots, we want to work with the business owners to find out what makes the most sense for the majority of the businesses. So we are studying it. It is something that we have funded.
Thank you, everyone, for attending today. Thank you again to the panelists. We really appreciate the work that you do and the support of our community. And please make sure that you, if you're not a member, please become a member of the LGBA and continue to support us, because we are here to support your business. It is our business.